All right, in the previous video, we talked about what activity would be the other side to this debit to cash. In other words, what would you be crediting when you debit cash? Well, we're going to now go and look at the other side of what would the activity be if you were to credit cash. In other words, when you credit cash, you're going to be making a payment. So when you give up cash, you credit cash, what would be some reasons for doing so? Well, a typical one is you're paying for amounts you owe. So if you look at accounts payable, this balance here, your balance of your payables is the amount you owe for inventory or supplies that you had purchased earlier and hadn't yet paid for. So now when you go pay for these, you're going to give up your cash, credit cash, and you will debit your accounts payable. So again, you're going to get your IOU back, debit what you get, accounts payable, and credit what you give up, cash. Another reason for crediting cash is if you pay for items in advance. These items could be either paying for rent before you actually stay in the place, paying for insurance in advance, or paying for advertising prior to it actually being run or shown in the papers. So what the debit will be is to this prepaid expense. So you're going to debit prepaid if you've paid for something in advance of using it, and then credit cash. If you're paying for something and you've already used it, you can't call it an asset. So if you're going to be debiting prepaid, you basically are saying you could get your money back because you haven't used it yet. If it's where you're paying for rent and you've already stayed in the place, then that would be an expense. You would debit expense, not debit prepaids. The last typical reason for crediting cash would be to pay off your loans. So the debit would be to notes payable because you're going to get back your IOU for making a payment, and you're going to credit cash. So those are your typical reasons for or other sides to the credits to cash.